Jesus came as a baby. Very unassuming, very non-threatening. He said, I'm come that ultimately you might have life, and you might have it more abundantly. As Jesus left his disciples, half of a lifetime later, he said to them, don't be worried, don't be concerned, but I have to leave, and I'm going to send the Comforter, and He will empower you. The Holy Spirit will direct you. And He gave His disciples instructions. Go into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. We know that's been happening. Every once in a while we get to participate in it. Sometimes we get to help people who are doing it. And in Revelation it says that all nations, tongues, and languages will be before the throne of God. I don't know what it might be like, but I think it's going to be exciting to be in heaven and find out that our influence here touched this person's life that maybe we didn't know about. Our influence there touched this person's life that maybe we didn't know about. And some of us might find out that halfway around the world, because we touched somebody's life here and later they went to be a missionary, or maybe we had the chance to be somewhere. I think that whole revealing process is going to be just an exciting process. To know how the power of God worked through us. I'm going to ask Amber to come up. She has the privilege of sharing with us about her trip to Romania before she goes on another trip. Leaving January 4th, Amber's headed out to the Philippines, and then following that, Cambodia. So I'm going to give her the opportunity as she goes through a presentation of her trip to Romania, and then following that, just to introduce a little bit about your trip to the Philippines and Cambodia, because January 4th is going to get here really, really quickly. And we want her to know that she has our prayer support as she goes. Amber?
So all of you know that I was in Romania. I left October 13th and I got back, what was it, November, like a week before Thanksgiving. So, yeah, so I started my trip. I started out in Yash. Some of you may know Janusa. She came to Smoking Church. She's a peer presenter in the public schools there in Romania, as well as she's also a counselor. She does counseling for lots of people in the city there. So we started out in Yash, and this was one of our first meetings. The gentleman on the left, and okay, so this is Joe and Kelly Bornowski. They live in Altoona, and another lady, Gail Keller, that went along to help rock babies. They were there for 2 weeks, so we were there. By the time I arrived, they were about to leave in about 3 or 4 days. So it was really nice to see them. We went out for dinner and talked about their experience a little bit. So that was really nice. This was how most of the churches look there in Romania. They're very, very nicely built. But very sadly, the week that we arrived in Yash, they were doing a celebration. It was called Celebration of the Bones. And this was one of who was the Catholic Church? I think it was, yeah. And what they do is there was thousands and thousands of people there in the city that week. They would go to this church here and go inside, and there was bones of a lady from a couple hundred years ago. She was very well known in the city for healing people and just very well known. And so they would go and they think that if they kiss their goat, then maybe they will become healed themselves. So there's thousands of people that come. They bring people in by buses from the cities and from the small villages. And yeah, that's what that was all about. So it's crazy. So our first week we spent at a maternity home, and this was a place where single mothers live with their children. It's not like the typical rocking babies, but there were about 10 single moms there at the moment, and probably 15 children and babies. The youngest mom was 16 years old, and her toddler was already 2 years old. She was living there, and she had the opportunity to stay up to 5 years. Depending on the age of the mom, whenever she arrives, they can stay up to 5 years. And this is a picture of Kelly and Gail, and some of the moms with their children, and they're on the side. So, was one of the children. He was very clean, but he had lots of fun. One of the other children. They have toys and stuff for the kids to play with. All the moms have like a single room to themselves, and depending on how many children she has, there will be a crib, and then the rest of the children sleep in a single bed with her because the rooms are really small. This little girl was one of, she had 2 other siblings, and then they would have like a general playroom on each floor and a kitchen for the moms to live. So we spent our days just playing with the kids, using Google Translate to talk to the moms because they hardly knew any English at all. But it was really good. Helped to make some food and yeah, just encourage them. This place also gets shoe boxes. Janitza delivers shoe boxes to the moms there, so they should be getting them sometime soon. Then we spent one day at a kindergarten. It was the Seven Hills International School. So there's a lot of families that would have moved from England to Romania. There was one boy from, one girl was from England. Another boy was from Dubai. And one boy was from America. So their families moved all over. And we went and helped teach English and just played English sign instead. Have to talk all English, and they knew really well. They were really good. Then we spent one evening at a nursing home. This is Alina. She came on the American tour with the Gypsy Choir. She was able to spend a week with me in Yash. So we just went to the home and talked to some of the residents there and brought them snacks. And it was really close to Moldova, is where the home was located. You could actually see Moldova over the hill, so that was really cool. Another kindergarten we went to one day. And once I left Yash, I went to Piatronian, and there the Abedanis live. She is American, and she married a Romanian. And they do orphanage and village ministry there in Petronian, as well as they're really involved in their youth group at their church. They plan lots of events and a summer camp. So they had a youth breakfast the Saturday that I was there. So I helped make some of the food and set up some stuff. And the typical breakfast that we would have here, you think, oh, maybe pancakes or breakfast casseroles or something, but they have tomatoes and fresh cut ham, some jellies, and lots of bread. Coffee, I think it was coffee or something. So that was really good. I got used to it after a while. And then they had worship and devotional for the teens. And then the next day, we went to the Garchina village, and there they have a church that the church is open for the Abedanis to come, and the children from the village can come to the church. And we did a craft, we did a Bible story. It was cold that day, so we made hot chocolate for the kids, and so we're really happy about that. and some cookies. Becca got some cookies for them. And we also played some games. And then once we left the village, we went to an orphanage, and they go every Saturday to, I forget the name of the village, the orphanage there. There was about 30 to 35 children and teens that came that day, and they go every week during the school year. And one of the games we played was like you have the dice, and you roll the dice, and as it's going around with the box, the kids have to put on, there were like winter gloves, a scarf, a hat, and they'd have to try to rip the box before the dice gets rolled again. So they thought that was the best thing ever. It was very loud. I remember they were yelling, and yeah, they had a lot of fun. So once I left Gatching, I went to I met up in Suceava with Mihaela and Gabi and their family, and then we went to go visit Alina and her husband and her family in Bulashan, where they live. So some of you guys remember Alina. She came here as well. She's having a health condition right now with her feet. She's something to do with the bones are like fading away, and she is able to get like metal plates put into her feet. So eventually, when she has the surgery done, she will be okay, but right now she's not doing so well. So if you think about it, pray for her. She is still doing some of the presentations in the school as she feels up to it and has a chance. But we're at least thankful that she's able to get the surgery. And then once we left there, we headed to Aradiga. And this is the Bishan children. And we went to a park one day, and fall had arrived, so we decided to play with a little bit. And Aradiga is where the Pulse Center is located. So one of the days I spent organizing all the diapers and all the baby supplies in the supply room. They had just gotten a shipment from Scott, from Altoona, of diapers, so we had to find space to put everything. And Mihaela is homeschooling for children, so most of the days she would start out with doing school, and I don't know how she gets everything done. She's incredibly busy. She's a wonderful lady. And then one of the days I went to along with Iwana. She's a hearing presenter in the schools. For those of you that don't know what the hearing presentation is about, this is what I got from mbk's website. It says, we educate the next generation on topics such as abstinence, sexually transmitted disease, and the implications of sex before marriage. God has given us tremendous success. Local authorities granted My Brother's Keeper permission to teach the value of sexual abstinence into 4 counties across Romania. The program is called Worth Waiting For and runs all year long during the school. So she would go in, this was one of the high schools, and there's a video that she shows and then talks a little bit afterwards. But there's throughout the different counties, like it says 3 different counties. It's well accepted, and they're doing a great job. I think over a few thousand students hear about this throughout the school year. And then we went to the hospital in Romania and spent a few days there taking care of the babies. In this picture, they were twins, and they were both 3 pounds at the moment. And they were so precious and, very small and very sad at the same time to see that. And this was one of those babies. She was my favorite. But not just had favorites, but she, once you picked her up, she would always stop crying. Like, all she needed was just someone to snuggle her and, So you can see on the left-hand side, there's, that's their crib. That's where the babies sleep, inside of that little box there. And they're on a schedule. They get changed at certain times, and they get fed at certain times of the day. And you birth them, and then you get to hold them. when they eat, you're not supposed to hold them because they're not used to being held as whenever they eat. So you prop them on their side a little bit, prop the bottle up, and go down the line as the bottles are warmed up. But yeah, very cool. I like this picture. The sun was coming in at one of the evenings, and it was just like, there's hope for you, Lucy. You're gonna go home sometime. They can stay in the hospital up to 6 months before they go into the foster care system. So, and with the Pulse Center, they do home visits with some of the mothers that are in the program. And so I went along to 2 or 3 homes, and they would go in and drop off some supplies for the mom and see how she's doing, kind of see how the living conditions are sometimes. And this mom here, she let us in, she gave us tea and held the baby and gave her some supplies. And she has like 4 other children, and yeah, her hands are very full, but they're always very grateful to get supplies that are given to Pulse. They're donated to Pulse, and the Pulse can donate them to give them to the mothers as needed. They were doing a birthday party for all of the moms of Pulse. They do it 2 times a year, and they invite all the moms to come, and they have like a birthday party, do decorations, they have cake, games, and the moms can pick up some clothes for the babies if they need some at the time. So we spent one day making decorations for that, and buying some supplies, and then they would buy gifts for the moms. Amelia and I went and bought like coffee cups that had the Bible verse on to give to each mom. So that was good. We decorated the room that they have there at the center and wrote Lomolsa Ani on the side, which means happy birthday. It was a great morning. The moms really enjoyed it. They look forward to it a lot because they don't really have like birthday parties for them every year. And so this is a fun morning for them to come get together and fellowship and see how they're all doing. So we played games. I was given the responsibility of coming up with games to play. So they had to draw a picture. They had to hold a paper plate on their head and draw a picture with their hand as I told them what to write, and then they would get points for that. One of the babies that her mom's in the program with Pulse. And these are the directors. On the left is Adina, and she is the Pulse director. She took over Cornelia's spot. And then it's Amelia, and then Mihaila. Amelia is a counselor, and she does a lot of the home visits with the moms. And then Mihaila is the Romanian mbk president. And this is the hospital that we were in rocking babies. So like right through those windows is where the sections where we were, these were the babies stay. And right down, you can actually see it as you're walking on the street. Right next to it is the abortion clinic. And so there was a small building down to the left. That is where you walk into the hospital. So it's a hospital, the abortion clinic, and then on the same street will eventually be the new location for the Pulse Center. And it's a perfect spot for it. It's walking distance as moms come in for an abortion. Larissa, who is working with some of the moms at the abortion clinic, she can tell them, if you're having second thoughts, just walk down the street. If there's people there, they're going to help you, and you can get counseling for that. At the moment, they have to drive like 10 minutes away from the abortion clinic. So it's an ideal location. It's an apartment, like a house, lots of space. The center in Romania, where it's at now, is not ideal. There's a lot of road work going on. So the owner of the house told MBK that he will keep it open until next September of 2020. And so they need to raise like $120,000 to buy the building. So it's a good price. So if you're wanting to donate, it will go for a great cause. Another English class that Mihaela does, I helped out with that the one evening. And then we went to go to Edward's place down in Ploiesh. And this was a village. It was in Verbilo, and some of the children there. And this is one of the poorest villages there. A lot of gypsies live there, and living conditions are very, very bad. But Edward goes and sings songs with the kids, and they enjoy it. They enjoy it a lot. I think I actually have a video. I'll see if I show a video later. And then we went to group homes. This is happening a lot throughout the country. Some of the orphanages are actually being torn down. And they're establishing group homes. So instead of like 120 kids and children and teens at an orphanage, they're putting boys in a group home of like 15 to 20 boys, and then girls in a group home of 15 to 20 girls. So we went one evening, sang some songs with the girls, and just talked to them. This was one of the other gypsy girls that came to America with the tour. For the choir, and she was just telling them about her testimony, of how she came to know God, and just helping the girls understand, giving them more clear ideas of who Jesus is. And then this was one of the cities that we went to see, and spent a day with some of the other girls from the Polish choir. And this was a very popular, well-known road in Romania. It's called Transfergitishan. And you can kind of see, as you go to the top, you can overlook down the valley, and they call it the most beautiful road in Europe. And sometimes they say in the world. So that was really, really neat to see. And some of the girls. So that was where I ended my trip, was with Edward, and then I headed to Ireland, Virginia. I spent a couple days there, so that was neat. So I was gone for a month, and it was a really great experience. I'd say the highlight of my trip was the hospital rocking babies. I really wanted to see that and experience that. It was really sad to see these babies were so small. But yeah, it's great to experience that, and with the missionaries also. That was another highlight, just being able to live in their homes and like seeing the things they face, and being able to encourage them and know how to pray for them. It was a really great experience. So I leave January 4th again to go to the Philippines, and I'll be there for 5 weeks with a ministry called Global Tribes Outreach. And when we go, we're going to help some local churches with their outreach ministries they have for children and teens, and also a feeding program for children in the poor areas. So I'll be in Manila, which is the capital of the Philippines. Once we're done there, I'll go to Cambodia, and there's a school that I'll help teach English at. So keep in your prayers. I appreciate that, and I'm looking forward to the trip. You can kind of hear, this was the village in Verbilo where Edward was, and the kids were saying, awesome God. That was a little short clip, but they sang with lots of passion.
It is a privilege to be a part of sending people around the world. And it's amazing to me, whenever you see people from another country, mothers from another country, and they have their hand on top of their head, holding a paper plate there, drawing something on it. Doesn't that cross cultures? And whenever she said that the children were trying to unwrap something wrapped with saran wrap while they were putting gloves on, and that crosses cultures. I've been there playing soccer before with them, and that has no trouble crossing cultures. You know what else has no trouble crossing cultures? The need and answer of Jesus Christ. Human nature is the same the world over. Gets exhibited a little differently some places, but human nature is the same. The answer to the problem of sin is exactly the same.